Hey guys, happy Tuesday. My name is Essie Jane and I am a brand new reseller on Poshmark. I'm also trying my hand at eBay and Mercari, but have made no sales there yet, so we'll get back to that in a minute. But I've been reselling on Poshmark for about 6 weeks now, and I was just wanting to start documenting my journey with reselling a little bit because I've learned so much from resellers sharing their knowledge on YouTube and kind of giving a peek into their business. So my situation is that I live in the Midwest. I'm a mom. I have an 8-month-old daughter, and I'm not in a huge city. So sourcing is slightly more challenging for me than for some. And I thought maybe it would just be helpful for me to talk a little bit about what it's been like these 6 weeks. So today I just wanted to talk about 5 things I've learned or started doing already, and 5 things that I want to learn or implement in the near future. I got the idea for reselling from my sister, who has been kind of casually listing and selling on Poshmark for a few years now. I naively jumped into it when I saw a couple pairs of Zara shorts at my local TJ Maxx and thought I could flip them for a profit. Long story short, those are still sitting in my closet and I'm hoping to just make my money back on them. But again, we'll get to that in a second. Those were part of a big lesson that I learned. So yeah, I'm a full-time mom at home. I have had a business most of my life, or at least a side gig. I think since high school, there's only been 1 year where my taxes were that super straightforward. I just had one W-2. Every other year I've had some sort of self-employment income or side gig that I've been doing. Since becoming a mom last year, it kind of made a lot of those a lot more difficult to do. I was doing like grocery delivery for a little bit before that, and I can't take my daughter with me to do that. I was kind of looking for another option, and this kind of just has started working, and I am super excited about it. I feel very energized, and my husband would tell you that I talk about it nonstop and am constantly learning, soaking up information, pretty addicted to Reseller YouTube channels. So thank you to all of you who have put out amazing videos with so much information. Yeah, so let's jump into 5 things I've learned so far and 5 things I need to get better at or start doing. So the first thing I learned, and this goes back to those Zara shorts I mentioned previously, is to check comps and actually calculate your estimated profit. I think at that point I didn't even know that Poshmark took 20% of your sale as their commission. Yeah, that trip to TJ Maxx, I saw, I think it was like a Theory wool sweater or something for $200 at TJ Maxx, and I saw that it retailed for $400, and I was very much debating about whether I should buy it and list it and try to sell it. And very glad that I did not end up wasting $200 on that, because with what I know now, I know that that would have been a horrible idea. I did end up picking those 2 pairs of Zara shorts though, each for $13. And yeah, like I said before, they're still sitting in my Poshmark closet, and I will be very happy to just make my money back on those. Yeah, that was lesson number 1. After I made my first couple of sales, just seeing how much Poshmark actually took out, and it registered at that point that I need to be much more strategic when I'm sourcing and be sure to check what things are selling for and kind of calculate what my estimated sale price and profit would be based on that. The second thing is that with sourcing being a little bit more tricky in a smaller city in the Midwest than it is in bigger cities or on the coast where there's a lot more of a fashion culture, the thing I've learned is that you just have to look everywhere. And there's probably a lot more places to source than you think. So the obvious places, like I mentioned before, Goodwill, TJ Maxx. My Goodwills here are kind of terrible. I found a couple of things that I was happy to pick up and was able to sell for a decent profit, nothing huge. And then TJ Maxx is very hit or miss. I found maybe 1 or 2 items that I am happy that I picked up there so far in this 6 weeks. But I have discovered so many other places that I never knew about before starting this. There is a local chain of basically outlets that have either overstock or returns. Most of their stuff is from places like Target and JCPenney, but I have found brands like All Saints, Everlane, the Couples, which I had never heard about before. Yeah. Just a bunch of random pieces like in these giant outlet stores. It's kind of like a TJ Maxx, but like a local version, and yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems in there. They also have bins where on Tuesdays everything is $6 and it kind of decreases in price throughout the week. Fridays everything's $1. So I've been going there every week on Friday and picking up items to resell, and like I said, a lot of the stuff is from Target, but I have found a couple of things. I found an Ely Tahari pencil skirt that I made like a $35 profit on, which I was very happy about. Grabbing that for $1. I think it sold within 24 hours of listing it for $45. So that was great. And yeah, just another place I never knew existed before I started this, and it's been a really great place to find pieces to either sell or to trade into buy-sell trade stores for credit. The other place I've begun sourcing, which I actually just discovered last week, is a local consignment boutique, which is very curated and carries much more high-end brands and styles. I think that was my first time ever seeing a pair of jeans from the brand Mother. They were marked up too high, but I did find several dresses at that consignment boutique that were worth grabbing, and I think I'm going to be able to sell for a good profit. So I'll definitely be checking in there frequently and also bringing in items to consign for credit there. The third thing I've learned is the value of listing consistently, and I kind of learned this accidentally. I think it was like my second or third week reselling that we went on a week-long road trip, and my sister had just come up the day before we left, and she modeled a bunch of my pieces for me that I was kind of putting off listing because I couldn't find stock photos or they just weren't as exciting to list. So my phone was full of photos on that road trip, and I just kind of listed like 3 or 4 items every day while we were driving or when I had some downtime, and my sales that week were amazing. It was the end of February, so that last week of the month, which now that we're into March, I'm really hoping is going to be a great week again. But yeah, my sales really started to pick up when I started listing 3 to 5 items every day. And since then, I have learned from so many other resellers that is actually a very intentional strategy they have, is to list every day and to list, every reseller does it a little bit differently and has different goals. I've heard 3 to 5 items, I've heard 5 to 10 items, I've heard 10 to 15, obviously depending on how much inventory you have and how much time you have. With my inventory and time, I think 3 to 5 items a day is pretty realistic, and so that's my goal for myself, and I think I've kept that up for a couple of weeks now. So hoping to reap the benefits of that. The next thing that I have done so far is get organized. So at the very beginning, I was just kind of trying this out, and everything was just in piles, in bags, Goodwill bags, retail store bags, and I would just grab it out of the bag when it sold, package it up, and ship it. But over the weekend, a couple days ago, my husband helped me create a space in our basement, so now I have bins that I have labeled and put all of my inventory in. I have a spreadsheet that I will link below that has all of my inventory, all of my sales. I'm able to track a lot of different metrics on there. With the size of my business now, I think I have around 75 active listings, maybe 120 total listings. I definitely wanted to start really keeping track of everything early before it gets too overwhelming. So I'm really happy I did that before things grew out of hand. And I'm really excited about the new space I have in my basement to store everything. I have a shipping station. I'm keeping my laptop down there, so it's easy to go down there when my baby is taking naps and write up some listings. So very, very happy that I took the time to get organized early on. An obvious one here is looking for flaws in items. I've had like 5 or 10 items that I've brought home that I was really excited about purchasing. And then as I was taking photos to list the item, I discovered flaws, like either stains that I haven't been able to wash out or tears, holes that either made it much less valuable than I had hoped or just not worth reselling at all. Definitely look closely. I'm gonna be a lot more careful about that in the future. One story is I went to a local buy-sell trade store. I was going through all their jeans that were on clearance, and I found a pair of Citizens of Humanity jeans, which I had sold one pair of before really quickly for a good profit, and so I was really excited to see these on clearance for $10. I got them home, I had taken all the photos, and I was like, these are really close to my size. Maybe I'll try them on. I tried them on, and I discovered that there was a hole right by the back pocket. Very noticeable hole. So that was a huge bummer. I felt crushed, like I had just wasted $10. Nobody was going to want these jeans now. Not only that, I had noticed earlier when I was photographing them that there was a paint stain on the leg as well. So just really unfortunate. I did end up listing those and noting the flaws in the description and with photos, and they actually sold within 2 days for a $4 profit, which I was very thrilled and relieved about because I thought I was just going to have a pair of wholly paint-covered jeans in my basement forever. So in the future, I'm definitely going to try to list them if they seem worth my time. Yeah, they can still sell. Somebody still wanted that pair of jeans even with all its flaws. All right, so getting into what I'm excited to start doing here in the near future, I have started cross-listing to eBay and Mercari, a couple of items to Tradesy as well. I got the Flip Reseller tools, Sharer, and Cross-Lister. So I think I have between 25 and 30 items now cross-listed to eBay and Mercari. I have not made any sales on either of those platforms yet, so we'll see how that goes. I know it's probably a little bit deterring to buyers to see that I don't have any ratings, especially on Mercari. I have just no stars or anything like that on my profile. On eBay, I think I do have 100% good feedback just from making purchases and things that I've sold in the past. Hopefully those platforms will start to generate some sales for me, but I'm just gonna be cross-listing everything in the future and seeing what happens, because especially with the Flip reseller tools, it's actually very easy and takes maybe 2 minutes to cross-list to those two platforms. So I think that's definitely worth experimenting with. So I'll let you know how that goes. The second thing that I am working on now is separating my personal space, my personal bank account, and all of that from my business. So like I said, we kind of set up my area in the basement with all of my inventory and shipping supplies. And I am also now working on registering an LLC and getting an employee identification number so that I can get a business bank account, business credit card, and kind of separate my personal finances from this business venture. I think once I get everything moved over to a separate bank account and credit card, I'm going to be much more aware of what I have, having a budget, and just keeping things separate, which is going to give us all a lot more peace of mind. So I'm excited. That should hopefully be set up in the next couple of weeks. I haven't actually heard a lot of resellers talk about this, so if I've totally missed those videos, link them below for me, or yeah, just give me your tips. Also, did you set up an LLC? Did you get a business bank account? At what point did you do that? I know I'm doing it pretty early on, but I think it's just gonna be a really good step for me to take. The next thing is kind of a small one, but one that I probably should have been doing all along, and I just didn't because I didn't have the tool for it, and that is steaming all my items, especially ones that come home from the store wrinkled. I have a few items listed that I think probably could have sold by now or could have generated more interest, but in my photos they're just a little bit wrinkly, and I think it's just best practice anyway to steam everything. So I have a steamer coming in the mail today, and I'm going to start doing that in the future on all my items, especially on the ones that are wrinkled, so that I can photograph them looking the way they should look. I also really want to get better at online sourcing. So I've dabbled with this a little bit. I've ordered things from ThredUp, from The RealReal, from Poshmark, eBay, and I've had a little bit of luck with that so far. I think it's really hard because there are so many people sourcing online that you really have to dig around and kind of find your niche or your brands that not a lot of other people know about. So it's been a lot of learning for me, just hours spent looking at items that are available out there at a good price and then comparing them to comps and seeing if they're actually worth picking up, and then also researching a lot of brands and kind of making a list for myself of brands that I want to check in on The RealReal, on ThredUp, on eBay, and see if new items pop up that I can snag for a good price and make a profit on reselling. Last but not least, as I mentioned before, I'm super energized by this whole thing. My mind is buzzing constantly with all the things I've been learning and wanting to try, and it's been kind of taking over my life. I'm very thankful that I've been able to work around my daughter's nap schedule and that it's fit into my life in a pretty good way, but I definitely need to learn more efficient practices, get way more efficient with my listing process, photographing, finding stock photos, listing, and kind of batching all of that instead of buying an item, being really excited about it, photographing it, looking for the stock photos, listing it right then, which is kind of what I've been doing. So I want to kind of take a look at what I can make much more efficient to fit into the small windows, because I do want to be present with my daughter, with my husband, just with our life, and make this much more of a part-time gig than the very all-consuming thing that it has been. And it's been really fun, and it's been all-consuming because I want it to be, and it's what I've been thinking about, and it's been what's on my mind for the last 6 weeks. So no complaints there, but in the future I definitely want it to take up less of my day. So yeah, those are 5 things that I've started doing or lessons I've learned, and then 5 things I'm excited to figure out here in the near future. I'm going to keep you updated on all of those. In some upcoming videos, I want to go over all of my numbers so far, so what I've invested on inventory, what kind of return I've seen on that. Am I out of the red yet? No, I'm not. Yeah, maybe a haul of items I've sourced online. And I'm so new to this. It's so early in the journey that I've got a bajillion things to learn still. And I'm gonna be here on YouTube, stalking resellers, learning everything I can. And I am going to be bringing you along with things I learn about sourcing, about managing, being a mom, and having this reselling business. And yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving this so far. I'm really excited to have discovered this opportunity, this community, and I'm really thankful for you watching this.